Alright, welcome to Picture This New Media. My name is Halal Ernie, and we are going over uh, April the 12th, 2023's New Comic Book Day haul recommendations. Not my haul yet. It'll pick up my books tomorrow. But yeah, I'm gonna give you some recommendations on what I think is good comic books out there in the Western world. Um, I know manga's kicking comic books butt right now in sales, and stories. They really kick it out of the park. I got a couple of new ones not too long ago. But I did get this great trade paperback that I've been waiting for a long time. I showed it off in my new comic book day haul last the YouTube short, but this one right here, King Spawn, Volume 1. This is issues number 1 through 6 of King Spawn. So yeah, this is the time has come for L. Simmons Spawn to accept his fate. Is he to become the king of hell, to sit upon the god throne and unite the demonic factions under his singular banner, or will he walk away from the throne, throw down the crown, and let servants of hell fall into chaos, potentially bringing the world down with him? Old alliances are tested, and once thought vanished enemies return with powers to rival Spawn himself. So yeah, definitely got the Court of Priests in here and stuff. So it's definitely a good book to pick up when you get the chance. Only $10 too. Not bad. Still have leftover COVID, they call it residual COVID, and yeah, it makes me really gross. Give me a sec. Whew, had a loogie in my throat and didn't want to disgust you guys. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started with this recommendations. I got a couple of number ones to go through, if you can see that. So the way this thing goes is I tell you which ones I think are good and which one I've heard good rumors about, and we go over number ones. And no matter how good or bad the rumors are, there's a few exceptions. So we'll be starting off with this first row right here, Moon Knight number 22. I am gonna highly suggest against it. So this X-Men 21 though, I heard it's alright. It's alright. Fantastic Four by Marvel, these three by Marvel Comics, so I'm going to do a hard pass. But I do recommend this Spawn issue number 340. They're still selling it at the $2.99 price. So I really appreciate that. I really like when Image does that. And then Spawn's one of my favorite. They're really kind of small stories, so it's good that he gets it for $2.99. I appreciate that. Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 5. I mean, if you're a Miles Morales fan, I think he's a tokenized character of Spider-Man, so I really don't like him. A lot of people say he's his own character, but I think he's just getting the leftovers. A lot of things with the multiverse that I don't like. Some of them I do like though, like Carnage for instance, Marvel Comics by Carnage. Or Carnage by Marvel Comics. This story is absolutely insane, intense, and you got all the things that you want in a Carnage comic book. I did get the Venom Lethal Protector recently, and it seems it's not like the Lethal Protector before. It seems like it's written by a baby, and no manly words in there. No. It's gotten soft, and I was really disappointed in the Lethal Protector. Next up is 8 Billion Genies, issue number 8. I highly recommend this one. It's really funny, really cool, really mystical, a lot of magic in there. I like it. I highly recommend it. Next up is Captain Marvel, hard pass. Noctera, if you want a good she-girl boss with actual like things they need to protect and character developments and story and plot, this Noctera is good for you. She does know her own limitations as a female in a world ridden by shadow monsters, but she doesn't let that get her down, and she uses the strength that she surrounds herself with to really help survive, basically. Next up is Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants. I've heard some mixed stories about this one. It's from the Sins of Sinister plotline, so I kind of waiting with holded breath to see if this is any good or not. Please let me know in the comments if you read this. Next up is Radiant Black, issue number 23. I highly recommend this story. I don't know what arc it's on right now, but it's really cool. It's got everything that Marvel lacks in superhero comics in these current days. I really like Radiant Black. Next up is Superman Lost, issue number 2. I heard by DC Comics, I heard this one was good. So I'll recommend it to Superman fans of the channel. Next up is Star Wars Bounty Hunters, issue number 33. The Bounty Hunters ones was a really good staple in the comic book Marvel Star Wars lore, but now that it's the Force is female and she bosses are basically infesting these comics, they're not as fun anymore. They really aren't. Next up is Guardians of the Galaxy, issue number 1 by Marvel Comics. Who are the Guardians of the Galaxy? 1 year ago, the Guardians of the Galaxy were destroyed, their optimistic future shattered by betrayal of one of their own. Now they ride the space lanes of lawless corner of the galaxy, trying to outrun their tragedy. Can they rediscover their heroism and humanity in the bleakest frontier? Can they forgive their failures of their past, or will they fade into the dark, eternally unforgiven? Oh, Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. Alright, let's see. Yeah, it's a pretty good little catalog of decent stories, big stories. So maybe this looks like he's written a lot of kids ones too. So I don't know. I'll go into this one with a recommendation. Yes, I'll go ahead and recommend this one, but beware. Beware. Be wary. Oh no. Eesh. Yeah, like I said, go in with bated breath. I don't think it's worth it. Next up is Star Wars Dr. Alpha. These two don't recommend. Little Monsters, issue number 12. I highly recommend this one, and I really wish that my comic book shop had the trade paperback. This one I'm going to end up ordering it online to watch. Next up is Danger Street, issue number 5 by DC Black Label. I highly recommend that one, and I do regret not getting it from the beginning. Really cool comic book. I've been reading it online. Super awesome. Highly recommend. DC Universe Lazarus Planet, Revenge of the Gods, issue number 3. Skip. Batman Incorporated, I'm gonna skip. X23 skip. Phantom Road, I'm gonna skip, but I'm gonna recommend it. It was a really interesting story. I know I didn't really give it a good thought last time, but yeah, I think this is even a re-release. Yeah, it sounds cool. Sounds really cool. Sounds worth it to me. Recommend Phantom Road for sure. Next up is Marvel Comics Silver Surfer Ghostlight issue number 3. I'm gonna skip that one. I don't know if it's even worth it for Silver Surfer fans. Let's see here. Writer John Lennings. I don't know. There's no hype about it really. Next up is Wildcats issue number 6. I do recommend this one, and I did like this one. It's a group of misfits trying to be anti-heroes. It's really cool. I like it. Next up is Briar by Boom Studios. I don't know why I haven't pulled the series in this one, but I do highly recommend this one. There's a kind of a she-boss moment, a little uppity, but she gets humbled. A lot of people might not like this one though, since there is like a girl with the mental illness haircut as a protector, but I think she's alright. She does pretty good for herself. She's part of a clan that's like that, so it makes more sense than an actual she-boss. Captain America Cold War, War Alpha, excuse me, War Alpha. I'm not even gonna, let's see it. The revolution starts here. Bucky Barnes, the Outer Circle's new revolution, has enacted his deadliest move yet, in an alliance with Sam Wilson's nemesis, the White Wolf. When Steve Rogers' adopted son Ian, aka Nomad, is abducted by someone Steve thought was a friend, he suspects Bucky's hand at work and calls upon the people who know Ian best. Sam Wilson, Sharon Carter, and Misty Knight to help them get to the bottom of the attacks. Yeah, I'm already lost in the description. If you're a Captain America fan, this might be good. It's that same Jackson Lansing guy. Not interested, but you might be if you're a Captain America fan. I'm not. Next up is Predator issue number 2. I heard that this one is alright. Not something I'm totally interested in. Hard pass on Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. It's just a mockery of Blade at this point. Nemesis Reloaded, very great, gritty, super awesome weirdness. It's really cool. All the cops have been killed in the city. In the chaos, nobody can leave their house, and a nuclear bomb will go off in a secret location unless everyone remains in lockdown, Nemesis demanded. This series can't get any more exciting. So yeah, we basically got the psycho terrorists that's controlled the city. Mark Miller is really kicking ass in this one. I really like it. Next up is Clear by Dark Horse Comics. I highly recommend this one. It's very interesting, very intense story by Scott Snyder. Next up is Image Comics Dark Ride. I haven't heard anything about this one, but it looks interesting to me. I'll recommend it. Next up is Black Cloak by Image Comics, issue number 4. I highly recommend this one. It's a bit of funny, a bit of serious, and a bit of sexy. Next up is The Ambassadors by Image Comics, issue number 2. I'm gonna pass on that one. Not really something that interested me whenever I checked out the description in the beginning, but it might catch some of my viewers and my excuse me, my stuttering. It might be interesting to a couple of my viewers and that read the comic books that I recommend. Star Wars Ewoks Return of the Jedi. I'm going to do a hard pass on that one. I'm not even going to read what it's about. You can pause it right there if you want to read it. But it's about Ewoks. It can be very, very exciting considering the state of Star Wars right now. Batman The Adventures Continue Season 3. I recommend this one, especially if you're into the old Batman cartoons. Harley's multi-university screw-ups, hard pass, highly suggest against, and I would recommend harassing the creators. Just kidding, don't do that. Marvel's Voice of the Spider-Verse. Although it does have Silk, the creator, Jeremy Holtz, Cheryl Lynn, Steve Fox, Vita Ayala. Yeah, it's gonna be garbage. Absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. All these tokenized characters, it's sad. And then they did my girl Silk dirty. She was very, very appreciated, and I loved her character in the beginning. They did a really good job of her character development, the description, what she's all about, what she's like, and they just flat out made her a tokenized reject now, and it's sad. Next up is Chroma, issue number 4. I highly recommend this one. This one's so badass. It's expensive, but it's worth it. It's absolutely amazing story, and yeah, I highly recommend this one. Next up is the Sandman Universe Nightmare Country, The Glass House, issue number 1. It's a new arc, $3.99 by Black Label. The Corinthian has been turned loose on our realm once more, and the time he sets his sights on is on the very root of the rapacious America capitalism. Ugh. Silicon Valley, his relentless pursuit of the smiling man will carve a bloody path from the C-suite of profit capital to the bells of demonic nightclub, and no one will be safe from his reach. Not Ken living large in the Bay Area since parting ways with Barbie all those years ago, not Max, a nervous hedge fund manager on the rise. I don't know. There's some things that are bothering me about the description, but I will pull it just in case. Get a banger on that one. I'm not sure. Next up is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Usagi Yojimbo, Where When, issue number 1 by IDW. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pursue evil cyber genius Dr. Where When through the time portal and decide to emerge in feudal Japan, where they encounter Usagi Yojimbo 20 years into a samurai's future, but decades after the arrival of Dr. Where When, who was already carved himself into the fiefdom. I don't know what that is, but it's probably something to do with Usagi Yojimbo. It's got the writer and artist Dan Sakai, so I think this will be great to pull. Yeah, I recommend this one. OG comic book fans will love it. All Against All, issue number 5, highly recommend. Star Trek number 6, recommend against. Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries, I recommend, especially if you're getting your kids into comics. $2.99, can't beat it. Know Your Station, Boom Studios, I recommend. I should be pulling this one. Next up is Barbaric, issue number 3 of How to Pay, highly recommend. Masters of the Universe, Masterverse, issue number 3, highly recommend against. Even though Tim Seeley is in control, it's not what you guys expect. But you know what? I don't know. Hexware issue number 5. I highly recommend. It's really, I like it so much. It's a good concept, great story, cute character, interesting what happened. Next up is the season. The Seasons Have Teeth by Boom Studio. A drab, colorless world. The seasons bring change and also destruction. Andrew, a retired conflict photographer, lives a life steeped in regret after the unthinkable tragedy, after an unthinkable tragedy, but everything shifts when the seasons arrive. Each one a personified godlike creature. What the fuck? As he risks everything to track down spring, summer, autumn, fall, winter, capturing the perfect picture of each, find redemption and ultimately bring color back to his world. Sounds like a great mind-bending comic book. Dan Waters is a loved writer. I don't know. We'll see what this is, how this goes. It sounds good enough to pull. It really does. Next up is Two Graves by Image Comics. I do recommend that one. And I do regret not getting it from the beginning. Star Trek Defiant, Hard Pass, West of Sundown. I can't believe this one's still going. I highly recommend. Really great story. Really, really good story. Monarch issue number 3 by Image Comics. I recommend to the women viewers of my channel. Children of the Black Sun issue number 4 by Ablaze Publishing. I highly recommend. Very interesting. Very, very, very weird. Very intense. I haven't caught up to 4. I think I'm on the last issue I haven't read yet. It is, yeah, definitely recommend this one. Maniac of New York, Don't Call It a Comeback. Highly recommend. Awesome series by Aftershock Comics, a great universe. 007 for King and Country by Dynamite Entertainment. I'm not really keen on the 007 comic books, but if you're a fan of 007, it will be good for you. A lot of people like it. 70 years of it. I mean, yeah, it's Ian Fleming's James Bond. So I think it's a good pick for people who love 007 and James Bond. But I'm not gonna get it myself. I used to love it when I was a kid, but it's just not. I don't hold that big of an attachment to it. Let's see. Next up is Red Zone by AWA. I don't really care for it too much. I don't. But I do see the appeal, and I will recommend it to the viewers of my channel. Next up is Stoneheart by Image Comics issue number 2. If you like manga, you're gonna love Stoneheart. Really cute, really exciting, got all the fantasy tropes, with a couple little extra things in there that make it unique and original. Traveling to Mars issue number 5 by Blaze Comics Publishing. I do recommend to viewers of my channel, but I didn't get it myself. It didn't really catch my interest. Heavy Metal by Heavy Metal, I don't know. I don't even think that's in my comic book shop. The Great British Bump Off by Dark Horse Comics. When she enters her country's most beloved baking competition, Shauna Wickle's goal is to delight the judges, charm the nation, and make a few friends along the way. But when the fellow contestant is poisoned, it falls to her to apprehend the culprit while avoiding premature elimination from the UK bakery tent and being the poisoner's next victim. This looks like a cute one for kids, women writers, or women things. It's not something that I really technically care about. Murder mystery might be good for people, murder mystery fans. Not for me. Not for me, not for my viewers. End After End, issue number 6 by Vault Comics. It's a great mind-bending comic. Kind of like a little thing on Alice in Wonderland. Not really for me though, so I'm gonna skip it. Nightfall double feature. If you're into horror comics, this is gonna be right up your alley. I highly recommend it. Really great artists in the Vault Nightfall comics. Got all the horror and scary, bloody content you'll love. Next up is The Giant Kaiju by Image Comics. The Despicable Deadpool team reunites to give the world a giant monster attack story that movies and TVs are too squeamish to show you. Yeah, right. This tale of woe about a monster with physical needs. It needs a restroom, it needs food too, and most unfortunate, needs sexual satisfaction. The only thing standing in the way are men and women of science who are proudly flying a M rating for violence, mild sexual coordinated. So it's I don't know, it's one of those gross out comics. I don't know. I'll give the issue number 1 a chance. I don't mind a little gross out humor. Space Job, Dark Horse Comics. The stupidest concept of Dark Horse Comics has ever done. Ridiculous art, Tumblr art, garbage. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not garbage by Dark Horse Comics, though, is Assassin's Apprentice. Really great cover work, really good interior work, really great story. Assassin's Apprentice, I mean, can't get much more metal than that. Merc Publishing's Born of Blood. I highly recommend this one if you're into the whole sexy fighting thing. Not really for me, but I do see the appeal. Next up, by Scout Comics, is All the Devils Are Here. Joe is an elderly dementia patient that becomes possessed by a powerful demon. In order to save him, an unconventional and mysterious exorcist, J.C. Garcia must venture into his mind. Once inside, he finds more than he's bargained for. An ever-changing hellscape created by a fusion of Morse's and the demon's memories that brings JC face to face with his own traumatic past. Sounds like a lot of comic books are doing this. I don't know, it's weird. It's weird, especially in this week. Sounds good enough though. I'll give it a shot. The ending of Dark Horse Comics White Savior, I highly recommend it, especially if you're into the old fantasy trope mixed in with a little bit of Japanese history. Next up is Kitsune by Scout Comics. I highly recommend this one, especially if you're into the whole anime anthropomorphic cartoons. Really, really interesting. It's actually got a really great story that ties back to old Japan. Next up is Frank Frazetta's Tales of Science and Fantasy by Opus Comics. The stunning debut of a new quarterly anthology series, each issue focusing on another masterpiece by Godfather of Fantasy art, Frank Frazetta. I recommend this one just for Frank Frazetta's art. I think that one would be like the best one. That one too. definitely looks interesting. I will pull this for sure. Next up is excuse me. Next up is Mad Balls versus Garbage Pail Kids. Hard pass. Gold Digger by Antarctic Press. If you're into that anime, you'll like that one. It's alright. Not the best. It's a little silly, a little furry, a little too furry for me. Ahoy's Comics The Gimmick, issue number 2. Ahoy Comics is Ahoy Comics. If you like Ahoy Comics comedy, you'll like that one. Never Ender, The Final Duel, issue number 1 by Sumerian Comics. The year is 20X19, and due to the breakthrough in artificial accelerants, mankind is taken to the stars at the edge of civilization. The dominant sport is civilized sword duel to the death. Kind of like Gundam. The top 5 fighters are protected by Saguro, a talented and tenacious duelist. Team Eagle Eye is forced to choose which direction to fight after Merrick openly criticized the Colonial Republic after his previous duel. So this is just the ender to the really good comic from Never Ender. I really liked it. I highly recommend it. Next up is Blood, Love, Ghost, and Deadly Spell by Fair Square Comics. I don't know if this is going to show up in my comic book, my local comic book shop, but this is a $9.99, 64-page, basically, let's see here, filled with horrific tales from an inimitable mind of Damien Connolly, the author of the best-selling hits like You Promised Me Darkness and Follow Me Into the Darkness. She does, Damien did really good work with that. I'll recommend this one. I'm not going to get it myself, it's a little too expensive, but I think it's worth it out there. Next up is Cinderella vs. Queen of Hearts, issue number 1. There's the description, $5.99 by Zinscope. Next up is Exorcists Never Die by Mad Cave Studios. Sid Miller and Alan Blair are at the world's 2 premier combat exorcists. The only problem, after a nuclear breakup 6 years ago, they can't. Oh god. Why, Mad Cave? Why? Why do you do this? So fucking cringe. And then you do this to the girls and make them look like men. Stupid. Ugly and stupid. I mean, look at these covers. I mean, look at this cover. Look at these guys. No effort into making her attractive at all. Sorry, I got something in my eye. Jesus. I feel like a little tiny piece of sand. Ugh. Next up is Jungle Comics by Antarctic Press, issue number 14. Like I said, it's a little tense in the sexual department, but it's good art, and yeah. Next up is Hone of Orcs by Blood Moon Comics. I would highly recommend this if my local comic book shop got it. Maybe if I put it on the pull series, he'll start getting Blood Moon Comics. We'll see. Next up, by Silver Sprocket, is Sleepwalking by Silver Sprocket. Clementine and her gritty punk friends are Clementine and her gritty punk friends, as they navigate the perils of ex-partner drama, 2 loud house shows, and overwhelming ennui that is their 20s. Yeah, Not for me. Sounds cool though. Excuse my dad yelling. Can't control himself. Next up is Griffin, Galaxy's Most Wanted, issue number 1 by Whatnot Publishing. In the distant future, mankind has taken to the stars and spread across the galaxy. They have encountered hundreds of millions of worlds, met dozens of species, and crushed them all in the iron fist of humanity. Humans now reign over Milky Way as fascist empire known as Sovereign Reach, and the most feared soldier and mercilessly capital Leela Griffin. 6 months ago they disappeared. 1 week ago they returned, charged, radicalized to bring down the empire they once served. Captain Griffin has a new mission to recruit a crew of rogue officers and mad scientists and set fire to the galaxy, no matter how many get burnt along the way. I normally like Whatnot Publishing, but this one I'm gonna do a hard pass on. It does not look like it's for me at all. Next up, by American Mythology Productions, is Legendfall. An epic fantasy arrives at the American Mythology Production. There is an evil growing inside the kingdom of Shadow Rock. Death has found a home in the village outside of the castle's mountainous walls, and King Aldris has put out a call to the greatest warriors of the realm. What he gets is a disgraced noble, a freelancer looking to repair his father's shattered legacy, a dwarf with a bad attitude, a thief looking to secure her place in the Midori, a caster, a great heart that last of his kind, a boy looking to avenge his family after losing them to those who sleep below. It's sword and sorcery, American Mythology Productions way. Part terror, part magic, all adventures. A mismatched group of adventurers learn to work together to find one weapon that can stop this evil before the entire kingdom is lost. Join us in an epic journey into a bold new world of magic monsters brought to you by the comic company that they call home. So this sounds really interesting. It's got a limited 100 print, so I don't know, sounds really cool. I really like the style, the art. I think this is gonna be worth it. The story sounds interesting too. It sounds like a D&D story. These ones don't show up in my comic book shop. Ziltoid the Omniscient by Opus Comics. From the mind of Devin Townsend, one of the most colorful and prolific musicians in heavy metal, comes the bizarre and whimsical Ziltoid the Omniscient. Witness the rise of Ziltoid, tasked with keeping coffee flowing, or else what? Or else a really gay story that I don't care about. Yeah, not caring about this one at all. Retroverse by Comixology, not really my scene. God damn it, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm not recording or anything. Scoot, Imprint, Derek, and Leah don't really have a plan. All they know is that video games are awesome and that you should always look out for your neighborhood. This sounds like it's for kids. It is for kids. Scoot Comics. Sounds cute enough if you want to get your kids into comic books, but I would recommend like the Batman stuff. Just basically other stuff. This one's a little too fruity for me. But yeah, that's gonna do it here for this this recommendation YouTube thing. I hope you liked it. I hope you got a good laugh at people slamming doors in my house. And yeah, have yourself a great day.